We're just a little over 3 months away from the 2024 college football season, and we're going to take a look at the top 10 games from week one. We've now got some of the TV times set for week one and some of the other weeks as well, as it's starting to feel like, college football not that far away. We're going to start predictions next week, the day after Memorial Day. That's when I've always done them. We'll start going through and doing every single team, predicting how their season is going to go. And, last year we did the top 10 games from every single week. I didn't get to that this year. Was really just kind of delayed on my schedule with everything. So maybe we'll do better next year. But do want to at least look at week one. And so let's start with number 10, and that is Fresno State at Michigan. This one should be interesting. I don't think Michigan has much of a chance of losing this game. But Fresno State's not a bad team at the Group of 5 level. And it's just really more about seeing Michigan, the team that won it all last year, and they have so many changes, especially on offense. What will this team look like? So I'm very interested to see this matchup, and again, mostly just see how this Michigan team looks against a pretty good Group of 5 team. All right, number 9 is TCU at Stanford. You got two Power 4 teams going at it here, and look, there's not a ton of great games in week one. We do have several, but yeah, you're going to have to pick some games like this in Fresno State, Michigan. But this should be an interesting game. I really think TCU has a chance to improve a lot this year, but they're going on the road here in week one. A Stanford team that, they're going to be in year two with a new coach. Are they going to improve? How much? This could be an interesting game. I think it'll be pretty competitive. I don't see this game being lopsided one way or the other. I think it will be a good one. And again, one of the more competitive games, and a competitive game against two Power 4 teams. That should be exciting. So TCU Stanford at number 9. We got Virginia Tech at Vanderbilt at number 8. Virginia Tech, a team that really is being hyped up going into this season because of all the production that they return. I'm high on Virginia Tech, but maybe not as high as some people. I don't think this team really has a chance to win the ACC. Maybe they're a dark horse, but I do still think they're a little bit behind some of those top teams. But I do think they're going to be good, and I think they're going to be improved. I think they're going to have a much better record than what they had last year. So, we're going to get a chance to see Virginia Tech. But they go on the road to play Vanderbilt, an SEC team. I know they're not one of the better SEC teams. In fact, they're the worst team in the SEC normally, and probably again this year. So you don't really expect this game to be super close, but I wouldn't be surprised week one. Again, Virginia Tech going on the road is probably going to be a really low-scoring game, so you never know. And again, I think it'll be a somewhat competitive game. We'll see. This one coming in at number 8. All right, number 7, Boston College at Florida State. This is going to be on Monday night, Labor Day night. This will be that game. And you saw the game last year. Again, Boston College played them really tough. It was the red bandana game. Florida State, a lot of question marks. This is actually going to be the second game for them because, of course, they play Georgia Tech in week 0, and they play that game in Ireland. So we're already going to know a lot about Florida State by this point. Boston College, new coach. How will they look this year? I don't think Florida State's going to be really all that close to as good as they were last season. I still think they might be the best team in the ACC, but this was a really good team last year. And Boston College, if they improve some, perhaps this game can be pretty competitive, but it'll be on a national stage there again on Labor Day night. All right, let's go to number 6. This will be a Thursday night game. We've already got this one set up. It's North Dakota State versus Colorado, and I've seen some point spreads for this game where Colorado, I think, was favored by about 8. So Vegas expects this game to be competitive, to be close. You got North Dakota State, who, of course, has been now for several years the best team at the FCS level. And we've seen them beat FBS teams before. Colorado, of course, all the excitement around this team and this program. We all know about how that's gone the last year or so with Deion Sanders. This is going to be a talented team. I look at Colorado, and they do lack some depth, but I don't know if that really matters in a game like this. We'll see week 1. But again, our first chance to see Colorado and see them play one of the best teams from the FCS. I think this one should be exciting as well. All right, number 5. Now we get into the really good games. So the top 5 games all are, great games for week 1. We've got Miami at Florida here at number 5. It seems like everyone's kind of thinking that Miami's going to take care of business in this game because you look at all the additions in the transfer portal and the roster that they've started to build there under Mario Cristobal. But I think this is going to be a closer game than people expect. In fact, I think Florida has a chance to win it. It's in the swamp. It's week 1. This is, look, I know Florida, everyone's kind of writing them off. It's mostly just because of how tough their schedule was last year, and it's again this year. They're not great, but this is not a bad team. And if you just match these teams up talent-wise, I don't think there's really much of a gap. I think Florida is right there with Miami. Maybe Miami has a slight advantage, but the game is in the swamp. It's at Florida. That's definitely going to, I think, even things out. So I'm expecting a really good game. I do think this will be a close game. I don't see Miami running away with it. And again, you've got two teams in the state of Florida, two powerhouses traditionally in college football. This is going to be a great one. And this will be, I believe, a 3:30 Eastern time kickoff in this game. All right, now we go to Penn State at West Virginia. Number 4, Penn State figures to be a top 10 team. West Virginia, maybe a top 25 team. I had them in my post-spring top 25. It's going to be a good West Virginia team. They will be good, and they'll have a chance to compete for a Big 12 championship. Penn State, they've got some question marks, especially at receiver. Their top 2 guys leave. What will this offense look like? Can they get some balance? It's at West Virginia, too, so I think that's going to make this one close. I don't see Penn State running away with it. I think it's going to be, again, 2 big-name brands. Great game. I have not seen a kickoff time for this. I think the big noon spot is maybe still available, or perhaps we see it like in prime time on. Well, I guess it wouldn't be an NBC game because it's going to be a Big 12 affiliate. So I really don't know where this game winds up on the schedule. Perhaps it is the big noon game, but it's going to be a good one either way. Penn State at West Virginia. Let's go now to number 3, Clemson versus Georgia. 2 of the better traditional teams in the past 10 years or so. Georgia, of course, being what they have been, they're going to be really, really good. They're going to be tough to beat. You got a neutral site game. Clemson going to be big underdogs here. I believe I saw like 13.5-point underdogs. But I think this game has a chance to be pretty competitive. Again, just looking at the programs, the rivalry. I know they don't play now, but this has historically kind of been a rivalry. I know the fans kind of go at it because of them being pretty close. But this one, I think, is going to be a big game. Very interesting that this game is kicking off at noon Eastern time. That's a head scratcher for me, but I think it's going to be a good one. And I think that, yes, Georgia should be a clear favorite, but I think this is a huge game. And not just, look, if Georgia wins, okay, but we also are going to learn a lot about these 2 teams. Just how good Georgia is. Is Clemson a team that can compete with the top teams in college football this year? I think we'll learn a lot, again, from this game. Number 2 is LSU versus USC. Sunday night game of opening weekend. This one should be a good one. You've got 2 teams with quarterbacks that have played some, and now they're going to step into that starting role. Kind of similar teams if you look at them. I think LSU maybe has a bit of an advantage overall, but this revamped defense for USC, how good is it going to be? Again, I think this should be a pretty competitive game. I think it'll be a really competitive game, and it's right there among the best games. But I still got to go with this one for number 1, Notre Dame at Texas A&M. I'm really high on Texas A&M. I think Notre Dame's a top 10 team. I believe these are 2 top 15 teams in the country. I know people think I'm crazy for saying that about Texas A&M, but I really believe that this is going to be a good Texas A&M team. They're playing first game under Mike Elko at home, prime time. Game day is going to be there. This is going to be a huge, huge game for both teams. The winner of this game, I think, is in great shape to make the college football playoff. Yes, even Texas A&M, if they win this game, I think they're in great shape to make the playoff when you look at the rest of their schedule, and really the same thing for Notre Dame. So I'm going to go ahead and say right now, the winner of this game, I'm going to say they have a 75% chance to make the college football playoff. And the loser, probably maybe closer to 50%, maybe even less than that for Texas A&M. So again, this is a huge, huge game. And I think Game Day made the right decision by going to this game. Of course, you got LSU and USC. That's not even going to be on Saturday, so you can't go there. But this is going to be a big one, and I think it's the best game in Week 1. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Give me your thoughts on Week 1 down in the comments below.